From the World Wide Web, this is Reflections of a Rabbi.
One drop of honey makes a world of difference. One drop of honey makes learning sweet. Add one drop of honey to Talmud Torah, and you've got a team that can't be beat. All starts with the children. Open minds and smiling faces.
C-SPAN, one of the most trusted news networks, one of the most important networks in keeping tabs on what our government is doing, put something on the airwaves this past week which is unbelievable, unconscionable. Take a look.
John, good morning for Michael Scheuer.
Good morning. I, for one, am sick and tired of all these Jews coming on C-SPAN and other stations and pushing us to go to war against our Muslim friends. They're willing to spend the last drop of American blood and treasure to get their way in the world. They have way too much power in this country. People like Wolfowitz and Fife and the other neocons that Jewed us into Iraq, and now we're going to spend the next 60 years rehabilitating our soldiers. I'm sick and tired of it.
John in Franklin, New York. Any comments?
Yeah, I think that, of course, American foreign policy is eventually up to the American people. One of the big things that we've not been able to discuss in this country for the last 30 years is our policy toward the Israelis. Whether we want to be involved in fighting Israel's wars in the future is something that Americans should be able to talk about. They may vote yes. They may want to see their kids killed in Iraq or Yemen or somewhere else to protect Israel. But the question is, we need to talk about it. Ultimately, Israel as a country is of no particular worth to the United States. It doesn't.
You mean strategically?
We have no. They have no resources we need. Their manpower is minimal. Their association with us is a negative for the United States. Now that's a fact. What you want to do about that fact is entirely different. But for anyone to stand up in the United States and say that our support for Israel doesn't hurt us in the Muslim world, or our support for Hosni Mubarak's dictatorship doesn't hurt us, is to just defy reality.
Let's hear from Mount Vernon, New York. Richard on a Republican line. Good morning.
You know, I wasn't surprised by the caller. There are kooks out there. But what is going on with the people at C-SPAN and with their guests, supposed experts, that would allow this kind of garbage to be put out there? And that would not only allow it, but would reinforce it. So I want to talk with you for just a moment about the strategic importance of Israel to the United States. The contention that Israel is not of strategic importance. Let's talk a little bit about the friendship between America and Israel. Did you know that the FTA, the Free Trade Agreement of 1985, is the cornerstone of our economic relationship? And it's the first ever signed by the United States with Israel. Israel has become one of the largest trading partners of the United States in all of the Middle East. And Israel's prime export destination is the United States. Some of America's biggest companies have R&D centers, major R&D centers in Israel. Motorola, IBM, Microsoft, Intel. And Israel has more companies listed on the NASDAQ than any other country outside of North America. But perhaps what's most important is our strategic cooperation. The United States and Israel are engaged in extensive strategic, political, and military cooperation. And this cooperation is broad, and it includes American aid, intelligence sharing, joint military exercises. American military aid to Israel comes in lots of different forms. But get this, approximately 75% of this aid, American aid to Israel, is spent here in the United States, providing American jobs. And if you need to know anything about terrorism, about safety, about security in this world, you go to Israel, and America knows that. To address threats to security in the Middle East, including joint military exercises and readiness activities, cooperation exists between America and Israel in both defense trade and access to maintenance facilities. One facet of our strategic relationship is the joint development of the Arrow anti-ballistic missile program. This program is designed to intercept and destroy ballistic missiles. And the Arrow is the most advanced missile defense system in the entire world. The development of this missile system is funded by both Israel and the United States. And because of our partnership with Israel, the Arrow has provided the United States the research and the experience necessary to develop additional weapon systems. You know, at the federal, state, and local levels, there's a really close relationship between Israel and America when it comes to homeland security. Israel was one of the first countries to cooperate with the United States Department of Homeland Defense in developing initiatives to enhance homeland security. And there are lots of points of intersection, points of partnership, including preparedness and protection of travel and trade. American and Israeli law enforcement officers and homeland security officials regularly meet in both countries to study counterterrorism techniques, to get new ideas regarding intelligence gathering and threat prevention. Don't tell us, don't suggest to us that we have no strategic need for Israel. Israel is our friend, it's our partner, and not only are we blessed to have it as a part of America's circle of friends, but we need it. And you need it, my friend. And people at C-SPAN, you need it as well. Half of the technology you're probably using was developed in Israel. Next time somebody sits at your table in your studio spouting lies and misinformation, I advise you to think twice. I advise you to consider fact-checking what people are saying and helping spread real news, not the trash that you put on the other night. Until next time, Lehi Trot.